11 December na Ghana yedi ekokromoti agitum si ebema NDC aba power nti etoaba eyi John Dramani Mahama on the 7th January 2025 ena yesuari ni ina chese abusua na efe yie pa na head of state bebre eba nipa ba ko am wo ba ya Ghana fo ani gi ye bo na baso chese ne ne wo hwe se wo ba no abusua na efe keke ene ye bo na baso ni ebo ni dija amafo person ni twitwa pictures amafo person ni ye videos eye Burkina Faso president eye Captain Ibrahim Traore ena meka ne ho asem yi na abusua Ghana fo ehu oba ye Ghana fo de ani gi ehia no fel so no ena after eno cramp no ne John Dramani Mahama ekokohia mu the president of Ghana ekohia mu atwetwe enkomo John Dramani Mahama president of Ghana ebo na baso yie pa ema ni hu se bo ba ye Ghana fo ani gi ne ho ne ani so no woda na se yie pa abusua na sa eye Burkina Faso president yi Ghana fo ebo na baso no na eye former president Nana Addo Addo esuso Ghana fo se ne ehu abusua ensembo pa awe na chese yentimi hu de uti ekofa sa de no eba ye na abusua eho show no sei ena ni nyina etie.
So see how popular Mr. President is in Ghana. When he was introduced at the Black Star Square, he got the biggest applause. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Burkina Faso president Captain Ibrahim Traore abaso na former president Nana Addo so yes in away no ase wo hwe ani enya kakra obuo bi anhye da amam amagana fo bi ni sabi NDC fo bi nom a omo ye saade no nipa no abakrampo na se hu na mamuo na ankoya na se ya at least we said da amre no dignities atitiri wani ntiri ewo honom ye se ye di buo ema na nipa se yes ade no edigu nanimu asinte twa se ye hwe na ye omo hwe na ye kokopa na Nana Addo acha abusua eno sansem we etwagu na ye KWESI PRATT ena afezu kwaku ba ko makwa Metro TV na abusua sansem we no mo so ne sere nya ambasa omo twetwe ne ye hwe se ne omo so omo si eka ensem yi efa.
Significant happened yesterday at the Black Star Square or Independence Square, whatever you call it. Okay. What was it? The head of state who had the largest applause, the most emphatic display of public enthusiasm.
was a 36-year-old.
Ibrahim Traore.
He was a Western cowboy.
Yes, Ibrahim Traore. Clearly. No,
not that.
That should say something.
Oh,
you understand?
No,
but that should say something.
Something about
in fact, the Speaker of Parliament,
a cowboy.
The Speaker of Parliament,
call him cowboy, call him whatever. The endorsement, the public endorsement, as far as you can.
He had the loudest applause.
The loudest applause, the loudest enthusiasm.
Okay.
We've seen it all before. I am very cynical and skeptical about these characters.
Okay.
We've seen it all before.
Okay.
You've seen more than.
No problem.
So, please.
But for the moment yesterday,
he was the man.
All the so-called democratically leaders and so on did not get the kind of endorsement that Ibrahim Traore got at Independence Square. And that's a statement.
I'm struggling to get the logic of your point. What is it? That the Ghanaian community...
No, not just the Ghanaian community.
No, we're a majority there. The people clapping. Majority, obviously, were Ghanaian citizens.
Okay.
What were they endorsing?
What they were endorsing? They were endorsing a struggle against neocolonialism. They were endorsing a struggle for African people to take hold of their resources and to exploit it for their own benefit. They were endorsing a regime which is saying no to foreign military bases on African soil and so on. Those were the things they were endorsing. Now, democracy, I'm saying that democracy must yield something that the people want.
Right.
Because democracy in our lifetime and throughout the world on many occasions has yielded things that are against the interests of the people. Clearly, so-called democracy. And in any case, if you come to test for ingredients in this so-called democracy, we find it lacking in many of the countries in West Africa.
We fought for this.
Exactly.
Why did we fight to restore constitutional normalcy and multi-party democracy? Why? Why did we do that? We put our lives on the line.
Yes.
Some died,
yes,
actually.
Yes.
Some died.
Many died.
Yes.
But
So why did we do that?
No, Kweku, we did that in expectation of certain results. We did that believing that it will yield dividends to the population.
I'm sure.
Now, if 30 years later we do an examination and find that what we struggle for is not yielding the dividends we want, are we not entitled to change our minds?
How do you do the change? Because I know you will
I don't have a gun. I'm not a soldier.
Did you see that?
You know, yes, I
So-
cannot organize a coup d'etat and so on. I cannot.
But I know you will not endorse or prescribe coup d'etat.
Under certain circumstances, I will.
In this constitutional era.
Look, for example.
The only time I would endorse coup d'etat is the counter coup d'etat, as Nkrumah himself said.
No, Kweku, let me give you another example. If we go to the elections and we elect a government of our choice, and the previous government refuses to hand over, that will be justification for a coup d'etat. When the avenues for legitimate expression of the people is closed, you open the floodgates for coup d'etat.
This is a hypothesis I would not want to interrogate.
Why?
Because it wouldn't happen. And our history has vindicated that point. We've had about 8 or 9 transitions with all its challenges. And many of those transitions, that's why I made a point that even 2 election petitions came on board. We have found a way of deepening the democratic consolidation exercise. We should not contemplate, and because your scenario wouldn't happen, I tell you, no Ghanaian.
We cannot have a Bokassa as head of state in Ghana.
It's not going to happen.
How do you come to that conclusion?
That's why I said I won't interrogate.
We could have a Bokassa in Ghana anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime we could have a
You are
Bokassa.
underestimating what our
you have
historical
been
experience.
You have
I
been
think you are.
around.
Look, we have created a critical mass of a commitment against military adventurism and for the upgrade again of constitutional democracy. Look, it's not a perfect system.
Right.
No way. I'm not talking about perfection.
Yeah.
I'm talking of a certain journey that we have taken, including with your support.
Yeah.
Well,
With your
participation.
effort,
Okay.
your participation. And here you give me a scenario, a hypothesis of a Bokassa at this stage in our history. It won't happen, my brother.
Kweku, I'm surprised that you've come to a conclusion that it
won't happen.
Because I'm looking at elections in Ghana since 1991.
Yes.
And I'm looking at some of the candidates, some of the people who qualified to be on the ballot.
That's
Their
right.
views,
The people
their
decided.
attitude, and so on.
It's their right to be there if they
One
qualify
day,
in terms
one day, some of those people are going to emerge as victorious in our election.
if true,
And you
fair,
know
and
that what
foul
I'm
means-
saying-
if true, fair, and free means yes.
The person is elected. After he's elected, he says, hey, to hell with your
He
constitution.
can't do that.
It has happened in history again. We are talking about history, Kweku. Why? Adolf Hitler. Was he not democratically elected? Look at what he put the world through.
KWESI, again, you've gone to.
So I'm saying that when we have a situation and a Bokassa emerges and Adolf Hitler emerges, it becomes legitimate and proper
I'm sure you're
to
saying
overthrow
if.
them.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
See, you know what? This argument,
Yeah.
if you are not careful,
Yes.
could be reversed to justify the 66 coup. If you are not careful with this logic, it could be reversed.
In 1966, we didn't have a Bokassa in power.
Oh.
So we cannot
But
reverse this
no,
argument to
no,
justify
no.
the 1966
I'm
coup.
talking.
And again, on hindsight,
you know my
Kweku,
position.
I know.
I'm talking of
On
people
hindsight.
who assumed
Kweku.
that what we had was a Bokassa.
No.
They thought we had a live president when Nkrumah was never declared formally a live president.
Agreed.
But they thought we had, not that they thought, they saw a one-party state. The fact, again, and I'm being very honest, the 66 coup was completely unjustified. It was a foreign teleguided adventure. So that is not an issue we are going to even debate here. But the 65 elections, you could also call it selection.
65.
1965, the second parliament of the First Republic. You could say so. Because it was only the party, the Central Committee, that did the selection of the members of parliament, and then they were declared unopposed and came to parliament, the second parliament. And there are people who see those things as why they should justify the 1966 coup, because they look at just those things. I don't. I disagree, especially when you realize that it was foreign teleguided
But you see,
and financed. Yeah, so we have to be very
There is
careful.
no way that the 1966, I'm not saying that you are justifying it, but there's no way that the 1966 coup can be justified based on the evidence available to us now. We have the evidence.
Even then.
No. The evidence suggests very clearly that the 1966 coup had nothing to do with the emergence of a Bokassa. The 1966 coup came about only because Western interest was affected by the government then.
But they were plotting the coup.
Yes.
The CIA, the British intelligence,
Yes.
and the
But
government.
it was not to entrench democracy. It was not to overthrow a dictatorship. It was to protect Western
I'm
interests.
saying they will say so.
They cannot today. They cannot, because we have, for example, and I'm sure you know that, you have read it, the cable which was dispatched to the British Foreign Office by the British ambassador in Ghana at the time, in 1961. I'm talking about, what was his name? Pardon?
Is it Mahoney?
No, not Mahoney, the British High Commissioner here. Oh, I just forgot the name.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. In which he said that Nkrumah had to be gotten rid of because he was making the African too politically conscious.
That's all true.
Clear.
But I'm
You
talking
understand?
of those
So-
who were internal to the whole situation and who jubilated and celebrated the coup. Just listen to them. Read their
Snelling,
books.
actually the British High Commissioner then was Snelling.
Yes.
Snelling.
Yes.
Snelling sent that cable to the Foreign Office justifying the overthrow. This is 1961, September 1961. Okay. So they cannot turn around today and tell us that because Bokassa was emerging in Nkrumah and so on. It is
Of
not.
course, look, even the
If
first
you read
coup
the
attempt.
declassified documents of the CIA and so it's clear.
na chese kwesi Pratt ene kwaku baako nso so ensem on na Metro TV omo kan about say Ghana fo bi ene NDC fo bi esi na Nana Addo Akufo-Addo ehu abra na Burkina Faso president Captain Ibrahim Traoré nso so ye bo na baso no eno ha island media message so nya subscribe ya obe subscribe e de ama me turn notification bell no ya upload video a wanya bi ahye me din de akire broni me da ase.